U.S. tourism down while more Americans consider moving abroad? That's going to be a topic of today's video. Why is it that U.S. tourism is down? Is it a real thing that Americans are considering leaving? Why is that? Well, let's look into it. But before we go on, subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about survival and preparedness. If you want to learn about specific topic regarding relocating, bugging out, and whatnot, I wrote a book about it. It's called Bugging Out and Relocating. You can also contact me directly for one-on-one consulting. That's actually something I also do. I don't advertise it all that much, but you can find my contact in the description of the channel, right? Send me an email and we'll get something done if you're interested. Also, Surviving the Economic Collapse, 3 survival skills, books that will help you get a lot better prepared. What is going on then with tourism?
And also from Governor Newsom, well, he is rolling out the red carpet for our neighbors to the north.
Dude, those numbers are bad. Canadians are obviously pissed. That's a lot of money. There's a lot of Canadian tourism in the United States, obviously. Also, tourism from Mexico. People usually in the more conservative side of things think, oh, there's a lot of illegal tourism from Mexico, from people that actually have money to spend and go spend it in the United States. Also, Europe seems to be pretty pissed. 17% drop, that is significant. China doesn't seem to care much.
Watch.
We want to make sure we send a message to our Canadian friends up north to come to a state where 2 million Canadians visited last year, to come visit a state where there's something for everybody.
Yeah, he needs tourism. These are the states that really rely on tourism. Tourism is a lot of money. Tourism is a lot of good money. It's not someone that's gonna be, a pain in the ass. They go there for a very short period of time and spend a lot of money. That's good for restaurants, for hotels, for selling crap, for stores, for malls, for anything, right? People want to have tourism, quality tourism, the kind that usually will go to these places to spend money.
Visit California.
Okay, the governor's invitation comes as the U.S. is tracking a big drop in tourism from around the world. Take a look at this. Travel from Canada and Mexico was down double digits in March. We're also seeing fewer visitors from Western Europe, Central and South America, I should say, Asia, Africa, even Australia, really all over the world. We are seeing this big drop. On the flip side, though, more Americans are thinking about moving abroad.
42%, lady? Really? No, that is not true. That is not a real number. 40% of Americans are not thinking of moving abroad. That is made up 100% bullshit. I'm not saying that more Americans than before are thinking of leaving. I'm not even saying that more Americans are leaving than ever. Like, there's probably going to be a record of Americans relocating abroad and moving abroad. That's something I will believe. That's something that's probably true. But 42% of Americans are not really seriously considering moving elsewhere.
That's according to a recent...
You know what this is? This is 42% of butthurt Americans that lost the election and will say, yeah, he won, Trump won, Orange Man bad, now I want to leave. They're never going to leave. And some people will, but it's not 42%.
Harris poll, 42% have already considered or plan to consider and relocate outside the U.S. The top expat destination, you guessed it.
Do you want to move to Canada? Because I do.
Oh, dear God. Well played. You're getting rid of the nose ring people and lip ring people and sending them over to Canada. That's fucking genius. Well done. Well done. For someone that, why is that you curse? Because I can. Because freedom is awesome. And because, at least for now, YouTube is not demonetizing my videos for saying words that you probably don't like that much. But that's how freedom works, okay?
And I am.
And also, if you don't exercise your freedoms, guess what? You lose them. So use those those offensive words whenever you feel like it, because the moment you stop using them, there's a good chance that it's going to be legalized for you to keep on not doing so.
I just moved to Toronto, Canada, from Raleigh, North Carolina.
My Canadian immigration process starts in about a week.
We can finally say it. We can finally talk about it. We are moving to Canada.
Having been doing this for a long time, having consulted with people for quite a while, a lot of these people, they will run back to the United States in no time. A lot of, maybe Canada, there's a bit, but in many cases, when they go like more exotic locations, they go back with a tail between their legs very quickly.
Yes. Canada. So joining me now is Dr. Hisham Jadud, professor of hospitality and tourism at USC. Professor, welcome. Thank you. Let's start with the tourism trickle-down effect here. How much do states like California rely on international travelers? And to that point, what do you make of the governor's move here to try to lure Canadians?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, tourism in California is a big business, especially for places like LA and Palm Springs. For example, Palm Springs, California receives over 300,000 Canadian tourists every year, which is a huge number, and it may have a lot of impact. California as a whole has forecasted to generate $6 billion less in revenues in 2025 compared to 2024. And the big reason behind this deficit, obviously, is the 9% drop in...
6 billion loss, he said? Oh, dear God, it is massive, yeah.
International tourists, mainly from Canada, compared to last year. And California has seen also a 12% drop in Canadian tourists, specifically to the state. And this could have big implications because it does not apply to California only, it applies to different states as well. But specifically to Gavin Newsom's message, I believe that Canadians were quick to respond to the governor's plea by highlighting that the risk of crossing the borders due to the current federal government policies is becoming very risky, and Canadians prefer to stay home and support the Canadian and local tourism. In my view, this is more of emotional. It used to be an emotionally charged issue. Now it's becoming more a safety concern. Canadian crossing the border don't feel safe anymore. All the goodwill from U.S. tourism professionals trying to recover the Canadian tourism may not work because, as I said, this is becoming more of a Canadian safety and security concern than emotional concern.
Yeah, well, he's right. He's actually right about the difference he makes between these people that screw the United States. You try to mess with Canada, now you will see I'm not gonna go to U.S. Right? There's that sort of thing. The emotional thing of I'm not gonna spend my hard-earned money in those evil Americans. I'll stay home. Right? There's that. But then there's also something that is a lot more serious and a lot more dangerous, which is Americans getting detained. Yeah, U.S.-born citizens getting detained by ICE by mistake. And this has unfortunately happened a number of times. And it's been people that spend a lot of time in prison. And by a lot of time, I mean even a few hours. Why the fuck are you being detained? There you go again. Yeah, curse word. Why the fuck are you being detained? You're an American. Why am I being detained by ICE? It has happened by mistake because there is this policy of more arrests and more of what Theresa May called a hostile environment. Hostile environment policies are bullshit. They never work. All you create is hostility for people that you don't want to create hostility, like your tourists, like your own citizens, like people that actually contribute, not the guy that doesn't give a damn about the law or breaking it. So those are the people that are not affected by the hostile environment. You end up getting Germans advising their own citizens not to go to the United States because there could be trouble with their legal status while in the United States. So I don't want to get detained. If Americans are getting detained, I could get detained as well. I mean, I'm doing tourism. What happens if someone stops me in the United States and says, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" No, I'm not. I'm here on holidays. Okay, you're gonna go to jail because you're an illegal immigrant. How can I prove that I'm not an illegal immigrant at that point? Because it is kind of dangerous, that little red line there. How is it that you know if my intention is not to overstay my visa and I plan on being an illegal immigrant, if that is already in my heart, at that point I'm already an illegal immigrant in that country, even though I'm within the legal status of I'm supposed to be here for a couple days more and then I should be going back home. But if I plan on illegally staying there beyond that, that's already making me an illegal immigrant. That's why you are likely to get not allowed into the United States if they consider that you plan on staying there illegally. That can happen. It happens all the time. You get denied entry. But what if you were allowed entry and then you get a guy from ICE throwing your ass in jail, and now I have to prove to this stranger that is very gung-ho on making a lot of arrests because he has definitely a quota to fulfill? Fucking Americans are getting detained. Why would I not be detained as someone that is not even a citizen and hasn't got the same rights? So these are the reasons why a lot of people, beyond the emotional thing of they're looking, oh fuck, really? Okay, I'm not going there then. I'll wait until things calm down. I don't hate the United States. I want to go, but this is I would go if it wasn't for this. I'm not planning on boycotting anything, but I'm kind of scared of getting my ass detained. So I'll just wait. Next year I'll go. When things calm down, I'll go. Or when I see that this isn't happening, and that sucks because that guy is not making that trip anymore. Okay, folks, that's going to be all for now. If you want to learn more, you have the channel, you have the books, you have my links there below. See you next time.